Hello, my name is Bobby Cooper and I'm going to review FileGuard. FileGuard is a small utility program that allows you to take a single file and encrypt it, assign a password to it, and also to delete individual files using secure delete. You would download FileGuard from download.com or go to the website of the authors to download the program. Once you have downloaded the program, you'll find FileGuard setup.exe and want to double click it. Sorry about that. Welcome to FileGuard Setup Wizard. The license shows the author's name. Commercial use of the software is not permitted. Redistribution and use in binary forms without modification are permitted, provided the following are met. Author's name and includes following information. You acknowledge that this software is not designed, licensed, or intended for use in the design, construction, operation, or maintenance of any nuclear facility. Definitely not certified for that. What is? Okay, and then he talks about the Open Java Development Kit. Okay, file folder. Let me install to. It's going to create a desktop icon. So there's the destination folder. Startup menu is going to have a FileGuard under it with a launch icon, and create an additional icon on the desktop. It's copying the files, and we're installed. We're going to launch the program. I've got set up on mine to use a password to open the program, and that's optional. You can go into the settings and actually remove the password or change your password. This is the FileGuard interface, real simple. You have file lock menu where you can encode and decode files. Encode meaning that you're going to encode it and possibly set a password. Decoding would be you take a encoded file which has an EFF extension. It'll ask for a password if it needs it, and click decode. I'll go through that in a minute. It also affords you the ability to take a single file and use an overwrite 3 passes for a secure delete so it can't be recovered. Information about the author, current build, and you can check the version. It says I'm up to date. Okay, so let's get into the program. FileGuard uses its own browser, style browser, and on the left side you can double click each one of these folders and it will show the subfolders and files. So I recommend creating a folder under desktop. As you go down into the different folders and you open the file, the FileGuard program diverts back to this. So I recommend, it takes a little time to do that, so what I'm going to do is create a folder under desktop, and all you do is just put your folder files in there and run the files from there. So I'm going to select the text file to encode, and we're going to go ahead and do it without a password this time. So I've got my text file, I'm going to encode it. Okay. We now are successfully have encoded this file called text file EFF. That file is encoded and cannot be read natively, and it must be de-encoded using FileGuard. So you would send the EFF file to someone, providing with a password, but on this one we didn't use password, so we could actually open the EFF file, click it open, and we know there's no password here. Click decode, and now it's successfully decoded. Now when you decode and you add an EFF file using FileGuard, it will overwrite the existing file that has the same file name. So if you have a test_file.txt and you overwrite it with this, it's going to erase the original one. If it has a different extension, it won't erase that file. Of course, it's just going to erase the text file. This time we're going to go ahead and encode. So we'll go back, we're going to browse. The program knows that if you select an EFF file, it's for decoding. So I'm going to go back here, I'm going to select the text file, and it knows that I'm going to encode it. So I'm going to put a password on this time, and I'll demonstrate that the password part does work. I click encode, and it's going to encode successfully encoded file. So go back here, that would be, if we didn't have the EFF file, that would be that file right there. It's been encoded. Okay. So let's go ahead and try and decode the EFF file we just created, and we're going to do it without a password and watch what happens. Valid access code screaming at me. Put in the right password, successfully decoded. So that's how it works. You browse to the file, it knows it's not encoded, it'll select encoded, you put the password in, you click encode, it creates the EFF file. You open up the EFF file, it automatically goes to decode, you enter the password or not, and decode, and it gives you the original file on the native raw state. This will work on executables, docs, PDFs, any file images, compressed zip files. It'll work on all those. And if as you get into this and you start to, it'll have an option for abort if you want to stop. So what else do I need to explain here? I think I described that. Yeah. Okay. So one thing to keep in mind is that even though these files are encrypted and password protected, that doesn't stop the authorities like the National Security Agency, NSA, who we've heard a lot about lately, from reading these files. And that's not what the purpose of encrypted software programs are for anyways. This is to stop third-party corporations or sniffers or hackers from being able to take your raw data off the internet, or even off your computer if you wanted. If you wanted to encrypt all your sensitive data some way like this, that while it's sitting, have it in a raw format on a DVD backup or a backup drive, but then have the sensitive data all encrypted like this, it'd be very difficult for a hacker or a third-party corporation, your cable company or whoever employee working from them happens to get a hold of your data, cannot see your raw data. And that's what really this is for. Someone asked me the other day, says, well, what happens when some bad people get this and they use it to, the bad people have better programs than we've ever thought about, and there are other programs out there that give them the ability like that. And besides, those who are supposed to be looking at these bad people can see these files. They're not encrypted where they can't see them. So it's not a double-edged sword. This works for everyone. This will help you protect you. Now the other thing too is that consider companies like Google who sell data, and Yahoo who actually sell personal data. I'm not saying they're stealing your data, but if you put data on Facebook, it belongs to Facebook. It's right in their terms of service. So it's just things to consider about. I have nothing bad to say about these companies. They've chose to do the business model they have. Their customers continue to deal with them, and that's okay. I use Facebook too, just like a lot of people. So what I recommend doing is using this program to encode your files before you transmit them over the internet. At a minimum, You could even encode data that you're going to keep residing on your computer. What if your computer's stolen one day? Would you want the raw data to be there? So this program, I highly recommend it. It's really neat. It's free. The author's working on adding more functionality to make the program even more versatile. And if you have any questions, you can contact him, or you can contact me at bobbycooper.net. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed it.